Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We will be joined by Chris Knight in a few. Also, we hopefully will be joined by GFan84 because he did request that he wanted to be a part of the stream. So, we will be waiting on them, but we are also going to get this thing kicked off. Welcome back to Die Hard discussions, and we are going to be discussing Die Hard with a Vengeance, the third one. And with me, I got the sexy goth girl, Caroline. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, can't complain. And we had a comment from a friend of mine, RC from the NYC. Sweet, parts of the movie was filmed on my blood.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Hope it wasn't the Harlem parts. But anyway. So, yeah, let's get into this. Basically, the movie starts out, you hear this nice little New York tune, and it's showing all the hustle and bustle of New York. And then you see the kaboom. A department store goes up, and we're at the police station where people are getting all sorts of roll call and such, and then Cobb, the captain, gets a call from a man named Simon, who talks in riddles and such, and demands that John McClane go here, into Harlem. So McClane was on suspension, and he's also back with the NYPD because, well, reasons that are later revealed. And we see McClane in the back of a tactical SWAT vehicle, basically getting nursed out of a hangover. They're giving him aspirin, they're stripping him down, telling him all the stuff that he needs to know, and getting a sign that he's going to have to wear. Folks, I do want to say this right now. This stream is not for kids. I will be saying some words that are not allowed to be said at all, ever, on streams that are for kids. So if you got kids, this is not a stream for kids. It is definitely
time to send them out.
Yeah. And where's your girlfriend tonight? Well, and Bob, she is on the West Coast, if you must know. She is, at this time, doing family prayer with her family. Yeah, if you must know. But yeah, thank you for stopping in. So, hey there, Tim Possible. Good to see you.
Hello.
And so McClane, we learned that McClane is separated from his wife again, and he got kicked out of his apartment in L.A. So because of the crap with his wife, he decided to go back to the NYPD. And so, yeah, he's back with the NYPD. And they drop him off in Harlem with a huge board that he has to wear and walk down the streets of Harlem. I don't like saying this word. I really don't, but it says literally. Oh, and here's Chris.
Yeah, I have to switch my background here.
Hey,
What
Chris.
happened, Zach?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, whenever I run around, it's like I'm like, wait, I have a background for this. I have a background for this. I don't have the background ready for this one yet, but give me a second and I will.
All
but all right, what's going on?
We're just getting to the part where he was just getting out of the car in Harlem.
Okay.
Or
with the sandwich sign.
With the sandwich sign, and it says, folks, and again, this is not for kids.
And this is not what he's not saying this because it's part of the movie.
It's part of the movie.
Right now, none of us have this feeling towards anybody.
Exactly. Full disclosure, folks. Full disclosure, disclaimer. We do not support the use of this word in the least.
Yeah.
So, yes. He gets out and he has written on this sandwich board, "I hate niggers." And he's walking in the middle of Harlem at the time, which happens to be the most predominantly black neighborhood in New York at the time. What he's making. So, yeah. You see this woman, or you see him walking so uncomfortably, and this elderly woman walks by him, and then you see these two kids go into a guy's store, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and he's basically like, Tony used you and whatnot, and you guys are going to go to school, get an education. Why? And who are you not going to trust? White people.
Yeah, the kid runs in right then and says, "Hey,
they're about to leave." Yeah, they're about to leave, and they say that. But when he said words like, "Who do we not trust?" and the kids say white people, I'm like, what the? I forgot that entire part or aspect of his character existed. Because yes, in this movie, Samuel L. Jackson plays an anti-white racist.
Well, he has learned not to like white people. That's kind of what it is, and that's kind of the good thing about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
How it ends up at the end.
Yes. Now they're discussing the movie, so don't freak out for that or for the mean words. Yes, thank you, Soul Assassin. And it's good to see you. Thank you for being in the stream for modding and whatnot.
Hey, Soul Assassin.
The kids are like, there's a white guy walking down the street. Yeah, I've seen one, or I've seen that, or not like this. Yeah. And then it shows in broad daylight what it says on the signs, and it's like, call 911. Somebody's about to get killed. And then he looks over. What do I tell?
No, I think the kid says, "What do I tell him?" It says somebody's about ready to get shot or something.
He's like, call 911. Somebody's about to get killed. I have the talking streets or the talking things here. I'm like, oh god dang, man. He goes up to he sees the gangbangers down the or a little bit down the street. Then he goes out to McClane and he's like, "You lost this stuff." He's like, no, and it is just some of the most uncomfortable conversation you ever see. And I'm like, what possesses you to wear a sign that says "I hate N-word"? And if those guys are going to see you in about 10 seconds, and they're going to kill your ass.
And what happens?
This is a police situation. No shit, it's a police situation. No, I'm a cop. You don't understand. So then the guy loses his one of the gang guys loses his basketball into the street and then sees him, and this is the funniest shit. You literally hear him go, "What the fuck?" Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh shit. I had to pause because I laughed my ass off so much at that. It's like, what the fuck? So then oh my god, before we get any further, what did you guys think of the beginning with the bombing of the store, the Simon demanding McClane, and the lead up to this, the sandwich board and all this stuff? We'll start with
go ahead. No, if you,
Chris, no. I said you go first.
Okay. I really think that this is, and I've said this before, I think this is a great sequel because it's so different from the rest of them. It puts us in New York. You know right away it's going to be completely different, which is good because the first two were similar to each other.
Yeah.
This one, it has a lot more movement to it. It's not confined within an airport or a building. It is the city. So the whole landscape of it right off gives you a whole different feel. Then you add Samuel L. Jackson to any movie, and it like automatically triples its value. And I mean, this is still fairly early in Samuel L. Jackson's career. I mean, if I'm remembering, this is like the time he did Jurassic Park. It was like all right around that same time.
Movie was done in 1995, or at least released.
Yep,
Yeah,
just before. No, wait.
No, after, because 93 was Jurassic Park. So, but it was right around that time when he was starting to really hit his stride. And now, he's in a movie and people flock to it. This is before, it was, before, all of those like catchphrases and stuff came around.
Yeah.
So I think it was set up very well because you don't know who Simon is at this point. The way that he answers, the way that he conducts himself is different from other people. And like they say at the beginning, it says, man, this guy's got a hard on for you. So you don't know why. And it really this whole movie sets up really quick and really easy, and it feels natural. And I like it a lot. I mean, again, when you first see him, he's being pulled out of a, drunken haze. Yeah. And it really does show how far. Okay. So the first movie, he's kind of that he's in that in between stage of, is my marriage still happening? Is it not? Or whatnot. And he still wants to fight for it. So that's what you see in the first movie. Second movie, they're back together, and he really does seem more composed in most of that movie. And then this movie comes around, and he's just a disheveled mess, and he doesn't care. It's just like, I don't. Yeah, that's the thing, and it's a really interesting way. So you're getting another side of this guy, and I like that a lot.
Yeah. Caroline?
I think it sets up really good. Right. Other than the sandwich board, I like this movie. I like how it sets up and how it plays out. But live without the sandwich board.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
The sandwich board was necessary. Sadly, it was necessary to move the plot forward because the guy Simon wants McClane dead, and he was hoping that this was going to get him killed, which it would have if it wasn't for Zeus. Which
Zeus?
Yeah,
not Zeus. He said, "Hey Zeus."
Yeah. So when McClane does get his ass kicked, and Zeus sees the gun taped to his back, he pulls the gun, flags down a cabbie, gets McClane and himself in the cabbie, and whatnot, and it's like, oh shit, man. He's like, do you know what they're probably doing to my store right now? Oh my god. So they get to the police station, and McClane's getting cleaned up, as is Zeus. And then their overly zealous bomb expert comes in. Oh my gosh, dude. This guy comes in and it's like, holy crap. He's
talking a mile a minute.
Yeah, it's like, dude, how much coffee have you had, and do you have an off button?
Probably stop.
Yeah. So, Simon calls, or after they distinguish, it's like, well, the chemicals apart won't do a single thing. Also, during this time, they're getting you're hearing different crimes that were committed, like 14 different dump trucks were stolen and whatnot. You think nothing of it, but most of those crimes that were committed have something to do with what's going on in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's important because the way they set it up, they're talking about all these things, and he's like, "Why do I have to do this?" And he says, "Well, right now we're stretched thin because this and this and this has happened, and he asked for you."
Yep. How you doing, Happy Dino? I see you in the chat. Precious
Hi,
Right
Happy
Review.
Dino.
RC
Hey,
from
Happy
the
Dino.
NYC. Good to see you. And yep, so Simon calls and he's like, "Now I want the other one, the Samaritan." And Samuel L. Jackson gets in. He's like, "What makes you think I give a shit about your ass?" So the Samaritan hangs up. Simon hangs, or not the Samaritan, but Simon hangs up.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, "Oh shit, dude, do you not think right now?" He's like, "What? I don't care." And he's like, "You're gonna have to care." So then they call, or Simon calls back, and he's like, "He does not reflect the thoughts of this department. That was a little bit unpleasant."
Mm-hmm.
And then
Or does he
talking
say?
with,
No, go ahead. Go.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I thought he says that could have been unpleasant.
Yes, that or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so the shrink is giving a profile on this guy, how much of a hard on he has for McClane. And as he's listening, they're like, "What do you want? Money? McClane's not worth much," and yada yada. He's like, "Oh, please. If I wanted to kill McClane, I could have done it already. And money, do not insult me." It's like, but then McClane starts talking to him and pisses him off, and you hear the stammer, the stutter.
Mm-hmm.
And he then tells him to go to 72nd and Broadway. And I think it's like 15 minutes that they have to do it. So they get to 70, or then the shrink, before they go on or go there, the shrink is like, this guy has revealed a lot about himself. He's German, first off, with the accent. Second off, his main goal is to kill McClane.
Yeah.
His focus is solely on McClane. Did you hear what happened when you offered him money? It just pissed him off further. He wants McClane dead. And the best thing to do is right now, play along with it and whatnot. So they go and they get there and they see the one payphone, and it's being used by a heavyweight woman. And the woman's like, not budging. And then freaking Samuel L. Jackson, "Did you not hear him? It's official police business. Get lost." I'm like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So then the riddle of the 7 wives was 7 sacks and whatnot. And
as I was heading for St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. 7 wives, 7 sacks, 7 sacks with 7 cats.
Yep. And how many
Or is it
going to St. Ives?
Wives, hats. It's man with 7 wives, 7 hats, 7 wives with 7 sacks, 7 sacks with 7 cats, something like, I don't know. Yes. How many were going to St. Ives?
And so they're
the man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're arguing with each other. Carver, who is also, or Zeus, his last name's Carver, and Hans Gruber versus Simon Gruber for a versus stream. That would be interesting, actually. But yes, they call back, or they realize, no, wait, it's just the one. So how do we do 1? 0001. So they type it up as hold on one second.
That didn't sound good.
Anyway, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that,
Brian's
folks.
okay?
She is okay. It's just unfortunate side effect to some of the meds. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
The St. Ives riddle is like one for the ages.
Yeah.
So,
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were just corny and stupid, though.
No, I mean, I think I like that too about this movie is that it's got all the little,
Corny
quizzes
stuff.
and stuff going on, and then when you find out at the end, it's like, got it. I understand now why he was just being, he was playing with him. He's a marionette.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back. And yes, you're absolutely right. He is a marionette. So, he tells him, he's like, "Yes, there's one, but you're 10 seconds late. Everybody down!" Because he also tells him that there's a bomb right in the wastebasket near the phone. And there's no explosion.
Simon didn't say.
Exactly. Simon didn't say. And you hear him laughing. And if you haven't seen this movie before, but you have seen movies with Jeremy Irons, you automatically recognize his voice. Mm-hmm. His voice is so distinguishable, even with different accents.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's like, Simon didn't say. So then he tells him to go to a different area.
The train station.
Yes, the train station. And that there's a bomb on a train. And if you're not there by 10:20, the train goes boom. And 70 seconds. Or no, that's not it. So then you can't use civilian, or you have to use civilian transport, I believe was the stipulation. So John steals a cab. And I love the line. He's like, "I know what I'm doing. Not even God knows what you're doing."
Mm-hmm.
That's is like, it's Sam L. Jackson through and through.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, you gotta head south. We're heading east. Yeah, that's not the fast. Or 9th Avenue is the best way to head south. 9th Avenue is not the best way to head south. Central Park is the best way to head south. Dude, McClane drives through Central Park like a freaking maniac. Yeah, he drives through it.
I love that. That was funny.
Then isn't that where they also call the ambulance? He gets his officer down.
Yes. Yeah, they get into a traffic jam after they get through Central Park. But I absolutely love it when he's about to jump off from the rock. McClane, what is it? McClane! That look, that freaking look for Samuel Jackson. Mm-hmm. It's like, McClane! And you also see a wheel pop off when he jumps off and hits another cab. You see that other wheel's cab pop off, but when they switch the camera to a different camera to show the continuity, you don't see that wheel. So there's a little bit of a miscontinuity there, which was pretty cool. Now, they split up. He's like, they call for the ambulance officer down, and they start doing the ambulance chasing. And they basically get halfway there, and he's like, get to that phone by 10:20. What are you going to do? I'm going to try to find that bomb. Mm-hmm. And so McClane has to do some crazy shit to get on that train because the train already started taking off. And then a guy gets into the freaking cab with oh
yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
He's like 108th Street, right? Yeah. He just guns it. And I'm like, holy crap, man. So McClane gets on the train to search for the bomb. He's telling everybody to move, and he lifts up a girl's dress. Well, sadly, because the girl's dress just happens to be the way. He's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, oh my God. McClane just has the worst luck, And then Zeus gets to the phone, and a guy's on the phone. He's like, use the other phone. He lifts up the other receiver, which is missing the freaking thing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, get your ass off the damn phone and let me use the phone. Scaring the guy, but there was a police officer that saw him skip the check-in. And the cop pulls or draws on him.
That's the
Just
most
as-
asinine thing ever.
Well, this guy, or right now, Zeus has just basically harassed a citizen and menacing, skipped check-in. He's broken 3 laws. So
True.
this cop is on edge. Stupidly on edge.
Yeah, like shaking in his boots on edge.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, Jesus, man. If he even twitches, you're going to pull that trigger. What the hell is wrong with you? But yeah. Now, this is not to bring up anything political, what I'm about to say next.
So y'all don't take it as such.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson's character in this movie does say a thing. He's like, the reason why I don't want a white cop killed in the middle of Harlem is because it would have brought 1,000 more white cops to Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need that crap right now. And it's like, Jesus, this is such a parallel to what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Except that what's going on right now is not the same of what was going on then, because what is going on now is brought on by crime. And
Very
it still was
true.
brought on by crime back then, but back or 20 to 30 years ago, it was still it was a little bit more racially charged, you know?
Yeah.
Not as outblown as most people would think, but it's still it was a very racially charged time. Now, so he's like, I need to pick up this phone. He's like, where's McClane?
He's on his way.
He's on his way.
He fell behind.
He's always, you know him. He's always slow at shit. It was supposed to be you both. This is going to be treated as non-compliance. So McClane gets the bomb, tosses it out the window at the last second, just as the train goes over a switch.
Mm-hmm.
2 wires that trigger a switch, and it derails the train, causing the big boom. Which that trail or that switch, that bomb was meant to go off, whether they did it or not, or whether they got whatever happened right or not.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the boom. He's like, you got it, or trust me, we all got to get down. And so the boom goes off, and you see freaking McClane just crawling out of that damn train, laughing his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a bunch of rich fucks up in their office building, shocked at what they're seeing. But then the next shot of them, they have a bunch of freaking popcorn. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? It's like, oh, I did forget one thing. When after they jumped out of Central Park, how did the Catholics do their thing? North, south, west, east. That was funnier than hell. So let's take a small break. What did you guys think of that whole sequence?
This whole movie is very different from all the other ones. Instead of having build up to like some giant scene, there's lots of little tension moments. So in the first 2 movies, they lead up to the tension, and it's all tension at one point that gets, is released. And this, there's a lot of small moments where tension's brought up really quick, like this, and then released up, down, up, down. And then when that bomb happens, it's almost like you think right then, it's like, oh, okay. Because, I mean, it's probably, when you first saw it, it's probably like, oh, shit, I can't believe he actually survived that, because it was like more dangerous than anything else he's been in. Even the ejection of the seat, or the jumping off the side of the building with the hose. It's because he's not really out of the way of it.
Exactly. He's
yeah,
in that
so-
train as it's
Yeah.
derailing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like I said, I love that this movie is completely different from the other two at this point. So, I mean, all the way
Hold on
through,
one-
actually.
Um,
Mhm.
For me, I still love the explosions, of course, but the pure destruction that it caused is one of those you know that's something that could totally be seen as happening with
Mhm.
an explosion like that in New York City in the subway system. I think it's very realistic and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember if this was a CG scene or not in this. I think it was, but it was done really well. I mean, like I think we talked about in the second one where the ejector seat scene is very obviously CG, or not CG, but green screened.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this one, I think, was done like that too, but I think it was done better.
Much so.
Yeah, but the whole. I'm trying to remember if did we skip the part where. I'm trying to remember if this happens before or after the jug scene.
What, right now? The
Yeah,
jug scene is later.
Is it? Because
Yes.
that's also in Central Park. That's near the.
It's Hope in Saratoga
elephant.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So after all of the stuff goes on, because this is a derailment in New York in a subway station and a bomb going off, that would basically cause a lot of ruckus. So now the feds are involved and they start talking with John.
Mhm.
And they're asking John a few questions. They're like, do you recognize this guy? He's like, no, I don't. Who the hell? What? Why don't you guys just tell me what the fuck you know already? And then he notices the other guy that's not really saying something, just looking out the window. And he's like, who are you? Let me ask you something, John. Do you remember, or do you know a guy named Hans Gruber? And
Name sounds familiar.
he's like,
Yeah, I
rings
know
a
that
bell.
name.
It's like, rings a bell. And then it shows Hans falling from Nakatomi. And
Yeah.
they then basically put it together. This guy is born Simon Peter Gruber, his older brother. And it's like, okay, now we know why he has gone after McClane. So then Simon calls and he's like, do not let him know that we're here. And he's like, so this is the first thing that Simon says, he says hello to the FBI, gets them talking and whatnot. And then he tells them
And he calls them by name.
Yeah, by name. And he's like, are you still chewing on your glasses to make yourself feel more secure? It's like, oh my God, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he tells them about the bomb scare threat at a school. And Tompkins Square Park, or near Hope. And the police have to search out the bomb. Cobb is there. He's like, do not let any of the media know anything. We need to keep this, or we cannot have a panic and whatnot. We got to search all the schools. And he gets them all, or this is the biggest mobilization that I've ever seen. They also have to turn in their radios because he also does say that the FBI and police radio frequencies will set off the triggers, or the trigger to the bomb. And so they go to. There is a Donald Trump reference in this movie. Um, the woman who was at the 911 switchboards goes and she's like, half the people have just called 911 right, or why is everybody calling 911 right now? Because the police had to turn off the radio or their bands, and they're going, or we're handling this. Can you handle it? Oh, the day I married Donald Trump, and something like that. It's like, oh my God, wow. I can't believe it there. But this was back when, well, he wasn't a presidential candidate. So then, as the police are mobilizing, they go up and you see a person looking through binoculars, and you then see it's Jeremy Irons, Simon. And he then looks over and he says, they bought it, hook, line, and sinker. And you see the dump trucks coming in with the specialized equipment. And he gets down there and he talks to one of the detectives down there, or the cops down there, because earlier in the movie they were talking about the lottery, and he's like, do you guys still bet your badge numbers? 6991 as always. And he's like, all right. So then that same badge, 6991, is being led down into the sewers by Gruber's men and Gruber himself, and gets killed. Because these men that were also in uniform were also Gruber's men. So this is basically the main thing. And while they're doing this, McClane and Zeus get to the fountain bomb. And McClane basically calls out Zeus he's like, you're a damn racist. Like, oh, wow, he's like, well, okay, so he did it. But then the bomb, or it's like, you gotta pour exactly 4 gallons in it, and otherwise to disarm the bomb. And they managed to solve the riddle of the 3 and 5 gallon jugs. So
it's actually a simple riddle, but a lot of people have trouble with it.
Yeah.
And it's because when you start thinking, like 3 and 5, how do you get 4 and all that? But it's it's easy, actually. But no, I mean, because they're sitting there overthinking it, and they're like, oh, fuck.
Yep. So then they disarm the bomb. It's like, we just can't leave that here. The kid can pick it up. And he's like, yeah, you're right. So he makes Zeus go back and get it because of the crap that he pulled earlier. And so they're running, and they see these kids running away because, well, there's no cops around. They literally got all the cops focused on finding those bombs. And while they're doing this, Simon is literally getting ready to rob the Federal Gold Reserve in the middle, or in New York, and which was at the site of the derailment. And so he also basically tells them, it's like, what is 21 of 42? Because at this time there was only 42 presidents, but he doesn't, or they didn't pick up on the president thing until later on. So when they grab these kids who just knocked off a store, he's like, all the cops are into something. You can literally steal City Hall. That tips off McClane. He's like, oh my God, going to Yankee Stadium is basically not important. We just found their end game. So he's like, you need to see those cops, give them the bomb, and then get your ass to Yankee Stadium. I'm going to go check out the bank. So Simon has already moved or gotten all the gold out of the reserve or the bank. And he's then talking with the 3 cops at the black guy, Samuel L. Jackson Zeus is heading towards total freaking brain dead right there, folks. Sorry about that. But anyway, he's like, I need an answer on that request. And he's like, let him go. So Simon, he's like, if McClane gets into the bank, they'll take care of him. As for the Samaritan, let him go. So he's like, there's a bomb, and you see the big guy just put the bomb down, and as he's about to get rid, put the bomb in, or put the thing in the back. So my bomb just wanted to go up. The kid could pick it up. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Terrorists with freaking conscience? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts. And so John is in the Federal Reserve. He notices this Detective Otto guy, and when him and 4 other guys are in the elevator, he recognizes the badge, and he sees that it's 6991. That belongs to his friend. So he starts going over the whole lottery thing, and his gun is underneath his shirt, so he shoots all 4, or he shoots 2 of them, manages to kill 2 of them, and then kills 1 of them and blows the head off of Otto, getting blood all over his face. This movie happens to be also one of the more bloodier versions. Well, sort of. Where Die Hard, the first one, had more nudity. Die Hard 2 had more, or had some blood. Die Hard 3 has a lot of blood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay. Because, yeah, McClane gets bloodied in this one. Not her, but also gets a lot of other people bloodied. So, let me get caught up with my talking points here. After that, Zeus notices that the equipment moving out is weird, so he goes down to see if there's anybody down there, and McClane reunites with him under the bank. And they're starting to put 2 and 2 together. It's like, oh my God, they just stole the gold. And so they're going after Simon. They get a message to the other cops. And there is a very bad cut in that scene with the cops. We got to talk we got to get a message to them about Chester, or about who's the 21st president, because they figured out who the 21st president is. Why they were mentioning Hillary Clinton, I have no idea. Because it was Bill Clinton who was the president.
Oh, I can't remember in that what the reason was.
But yeah. So in order to buy him even more time, Simon does something to basically, it's a strict terrorist move. He goes on Elvis Duran, and he tells the entire city about the bombs how there's a bomb in a school. And it's like, oh my God, dude, he just literally did that. So McClane is driving with Zeus on a car, and he's like, they see the dump trucks, and he's like, how are the airbags in this thing? I think it's only your side that has it. Why? And then he sees how they drive off the bridge. Now, there was a very bad special effect there, because that car went, or you could tell it starts to dip, but then it's right back up. It's a very small, subtle clip, but you still see it shift right back up and stay straight. So you could tell it was on wires to stay
There's
straight.
several things in this movie that they mess up on.
The special effects in this movie were not, the digital effects were just atrocious in this movie, folks.
Got to start someplace.
Yes, indeed. So they stop the dump trucker, or one of the dump truckers, who's going to the aqueduct, and they find out where Simon is going, near one of the dams. And Zeus heads to Yankee Stadium. And while the guy who they stopped starts driving McClane in the tunnel, Zeus makes it to Yankee Stadium, finds the thing, and sees under it says "Game Over." And then you see a sniper up there. He's like, "Yes or no? Yes or no?" He's like, "9. We wait until orders." And they're not getting any orders, so no, let them go. So you basically knew that if McClane had fallen for that trick, he would have died there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Simon, he has contingencies to make sure that McClane does die, but McClane just happens to skip those contingencies. So McClane is in pursuit of Simon, and he kills the guys that are in the back to basically make sure that they're clear for their escape. He's like, "Okay, you guys can." He's like, "Yeah, they're dead, and coming for you, bub." And he's like, "McClane, there is $13 billion of gold bullion in the back of your vehicle. Why not just go away and let me or you can have that and let me have the rest, and we'll go on our merry way." Nope. I'm like, how many people would be tempted if there was $13 billion of gold bullion in the back end of the vehicle they're driving? Now, be honest, panel. Be honest. How tempted would you be?
I don't need all 13 billion. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm. Caroline?
Just take a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah. Caroline? She seems to be away. But yeah, as for me, I would be slightly tempted. I'd probably take a couple bars, maybe.
Yeah. It's a quandary. I love in this movie how they, and you know what I love is I'm a big Bond fan, and you know, in Goldfinger, he's after Fort Knox because at the time of Goldfinger, Fort Knox had the most gold of any depository in the United States, and I love how they make it in this. They let that bit of trivia go out there that it is the New York depository actually that has the most gold. As far as I know, I think it's in the world now. And it is like that to this day. So I did like that they added that in there.
It's like Fort Knox is a tourist attraction.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I liked that about that part.
Oh my God. Thank you for letting me know this, Soul Assassin. I never turned on my banner.
Oh.
Shoot that like button like McClane would.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So then, let's see here. Simon blows the dam, and you see McClane have to flip a truck or turn a truck around while he's backing out, and it's just the worst freaking chase I've ever seen. The water, the CGI water, the blue screen of water splashing a little bit at the bottom, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just so bad. And then you see McClane get brought out of the tunnel like a spigot, and Samuel L. Jackson sees him flying through the air. And you're like, oh my God. So, hold on. M&M's.
That's not in the movie.
Mm-hmm. So then there's the car shootout where McClane and Zeus are trying to get to Simon, but some of Simon's men are trying to shoot McClane, and they end up causing the crash or the ships. They cause that truck to crash, and McClane notices the guy down in the tunnel had 10 quarters even. And the guy that was in the truck had 10 quarters as well. He's like, what's with the 10 quarters? Why do they got the pay or the toll on the bridge? And so they get to the bridge and they see that the ship is already en route off or in the water. And so they're going to have to get onto the ship. Now, during this time, that guy that was driving the truck and going to the aqueduct, he knew who Chester A. Arthur was, and he delivered the message to the police. And what is that noise? Goth Girl, I muted your mic because I was picking up a lot of wind. So the panic has set in, and they found a bomb at Chester Arthur School, and they figured out that it wasn't plugged in, but yet it was still reading at 42 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit or whatever. So it's like, yeah, we got to get out of here. And this is a huge freaking bomb that is in that place. So while they're getting onto the ship, they're trying to evacuate the school, and the bomb, because kids were left in, that very zealous bomb guy was like, get those kids out of here, I'm staying. And it's like, okay, don't be a hero, but you're going to be a hero anyway, so yeah. So he tries getting the bomb or snipping wires and whatnot, and the bomb just starts spewing out its contents, which was pancake syrup. And it's like, huh. So during the time that this is going on, Zeus and McClane are on the boat, and you see one guy get cut in half because they used the winch line from the truck to get onto the boat, and you literally see the guy get split in half. But it's really quick, and it's like, oh damn. And then they have to drag the two halves. So then he's like, you know how to use this? What is this? He's like, enough of that racial shit, man. Do you know how to use it or not? Yeah, of course I do. He's like, just pull the trigger, or you just cock it and you pull the trigger. But don't be a hero. If you see them, come and get me. Okay. Well, he doesn't do that. Zeus finds Simon and he tries. He's like, give me the go. He's like, no, I'm not gonna give you the go. And so he pulls the trigger. And nothing happens. Tries it again, nothing's happened. So Simon, he's like, you have to release the safety catch. See, like this. Boom! Shoots freaking Zeus in the leg, and it's like, oh crap, dude. The way that he just casually lets Simon take the gun out of his hand. I'm like, really? No fight whatsoever? Do you not realize that he just, oh my God. That one part there was just bad writing.
I don't know. I mean, maybe a little bit.
But yeah. Okay, you back, Caroline? Out of the wind?
Read your chat.
Orange hat. She's asleep. She's asleep. Okay. Thanks, Charles.
It looks like she had a long day.
Yep. Okay. So, yep. I'll mute her thing again then. Thanks, Charles, for letting me know. In fact, we'll let her get some sleep, and we'll just put her backstage.
I understand that.
Yeah,
It,
she works at corrections, so and I
yeah.
know for a fact that they have long hours. My brother works at corrections too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so Royston Park, I have only seen this film once, yet I have played the PS1 game of the then trilogy more
Mm-hmm.
before getting rid of it. Yes, I also played the trilogy or the Die Hard trilogy game. And let me tell you, if you take the wrong turn, basically you see like a wall of fire just kill you in Die Hard with a Vengeance. I would never could beat it. But yeah, so then McClane is fighting or gets down and into the cargo hold. Uh, and he starts fighting one of the other guys that is part of Simon's crew named Targo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You ever see the Adams Family?" He starts beating him with a chain. He's like, "They have this big guy named Lurch." It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god. And then he ties him up. But this guy, Targo, was tossing freaking McClane around like a rag doll, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Oh
holy
yeah.
crap, dude. I mean, he literally just grabs him in one hand by his leg and just whips him or smacks him into the side of the foot. I'm like, holy crap, dude.
Oh yeah.
That's just strength there, man. That's like Nazi and Indiana Jones strength or something, you know? But yeah. Um, then or as he gets up there and starts contacting the Coast Guard, he sees the huge bomb that they just, or that is where all of the real bomb is, and he's then putting two together and is like, oh crap, I'm done. And that's when Simon finds John, and they start talking. He's like, your brother was a real asshole, and that was an attempt to try to get him ticked off.
Pissed off, but the
Yeah.
funny thing is that he's
He's
like,
like,
he
yeah, he was
was.
an asshole. He was like, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was an asshole. Yeah,
Don't they both sit there and laugh for a second?
yeah, they were. It's back and forth. He's like, yeah, they were an asshole. Yeah. It's like, yeah, he was an asshole. But you know what? He was still my brother. But it's like, oh shit, when you realize you can't piss him off that way, well then there you go. So then they both get tied up, and he's like, "Hey, fuckface." This actually stops Simon for a second.
Your microphone just went really muffled.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, that's because I accidentally sat on it. Oops. But yeah, he calls. He's like, "Hey, fuckhead or fuckface or something like that," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to you." And he's like, "You got any aspirin?" I'm like, I'm nursing a hangover here. So he's like, "Yeah, sure. Here, keep the bottle." He's like, "Okay, goodbye." And so the woman that's with Irons, I forget her name in the movie though. She sees the other guy bloodied from McClane's beating with the chain. He's like, he double crossed us. He's gonna steal the gold for himself and yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And so she looks over at at Simon, and then she pulls out her Walther because that's exactly what it looks like. Heard you guys got duped by it. Okay, Soul Assassin, we got a person in the chat that needs a boot. like really quickly, please. In fact, I'm going to do it. There we go. Yeah. Soul Assassin, if he pulls his crap again, boot him. We're not here to talk about that crap right now. Anyway, sorry, I just dropped my damn mic. So, they're on the boat. They're talking about, or they're trying to get out of there. He's like, we ain't going to die, or the gold's not even on the ship right now. You honestly think he's going to blow all the gold and whatnot? He's took, or never was on the ship. And so they're trying to pick the lock, and you learn about what happened with Holly and the kids. How he didn't call for over a year because he was pissed off at his wife. And then they managed to get free and get off the boat. And Zeus gives him he's like, give this man a quarter so he can call his wife. He gets her on the phone, and then he looks at the aspirins, at the bottom of the aspirins, and he sees exactly where the aspirins came from. And it's like, oh crap. And he leaves Holly on the phone. And you hear, she's like, John, you son of a bitch. It's like, oh my God, dude. You had one job.
Yep.
So that makes things worse. So Simon and now his men are celebrating in Canada. And you actually hear Simon stutter again. And then he's following what's her name into a private area where they begin to start getting it on. McClane comes in with a chopper, and Zeus is with him. He's like, hey, sorry to interrupt your party. The woman pulls the gun and starts shooting at him. It's like, you guys got any guns here? And they give him a freaking 6-shot revolver because, well, guns in Canada, you know. And then there's the chopper shootout, and freaking Simon has I believe it's like an M60 or something like that, something close to it. And McClane ends up getting out of the chopper so that the other guys don't get the chopper shot down. And he gets him into an area where he can get a clear shot, but then he sees that the chopper's underneath some wires, and he's like, say hello to your brother in hell, pal. And shoots the wires, which therefore smacks the chopper and sends it into a huge pole, and then starts cooking the freaking chopper from the inside, blowing the chopper. And I'm like, dude, that was bad, that was badass. And then you hear him say, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And I'm like, there's the line. And then this is literally where the movie starts to end, because he talks with Zeus again, and Zeus gives him another quarter. He's like, can't believe I left Holly on. She's going to think, oh my God, man. So he's on the phone waiting for Holly, and that's...
He says, call her again.
Yeah, try calling her again, yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, dude, that was just nuts. And so, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the end of the movie where I guess you think they're getting back together again?
Maybe.
I mean, I'll have to watch the next two because I haven't seen them I've seen them once each. So
I
can't
don't mind the last two. A lot of people say
them all.
They went downhill, but believe it or not, Live Free or Die Hard happens to actually be my favorite Die Hard movie. And AFK is going to be joining us for that one.
Oh, cool.
AFK Bard. But yeah, that ends this movie. So out of 10, how would you rate Die Hard with Vengeance, Chris?
I'd say a solid 9 because it breaks the mold. Anytime you have a movie that literally is ballsy enough to carry a name of another movie or a series of movies that breaks the mold. The only thing that ties this, and the reason why I do think this should have been either the second one, was because of Simon. But that's the only thing that really ties it. And then outside of that, it's so different from the rest of them. Again, it's much bigger and expansive. So, that was the thing. So I'd give it a 9.
Nice. Soul Assassin. Which one had the hot Chinese chick in the movie? That would be Live Free or Die Hard, the one that we're doing in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie Q.
Mm-hmm.
But as for me, I do my 3 tiers. Objectively, meaning objective without bias quality, this movie is about a 7 because the special effects were just not that good. They do not hold up, and therefore they can really. It's like, what is that? Oh wait, that blob is McClane flying out of the sewer. Okay then, but yeah, that's just an example of how bad the stuff got, because then you see McClane, or you see the blue screen just didn't work well in certain areas, or the blue screen back then, it just doesn't work very well in certain areas. So there are some objective qualities that do knock the score down a little bit, but for the most part, this movie does do well in areas of writing, casting, acting, and even directing with Tiernan and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is truly actually very well up there. It's just that the cinematography in some of it, when they had to use blue screen, did harm the film, as did the digital quality, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Now, subjectively, I agree with you. It is a 9 out of 10. It does break the mold. It is incredibly entertaining. Jeremy Irons is a villain that is trying to basically surpass his brother. He doesn't just want, or he even said it in the movie, McClane dying is a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to, or he does want to kill McClane, but he wants to outdo his brother.
Yep.
And that was basically his motivation. He's going to knock off something bigger than Fort Knox. And I believe even Hans Gruber said something about Fort Knox in the first movie, if I remember correctly. But yeah,
I think so.
This movie is actually very good, and I did like it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even in the movie goer review, it is a 10 out of 10. It is truly one of the better ones. Die Hard 2 is, in my opinion, the second to last weakest link. Die Hard, the original, is like my second favorite. But yes, my first favorite is Live Free or Die Hard, because Bruce Willis in his later years is a freaking just awesome to watch. And that we will discuss that in 2 weeks' time, folks.
Indeed.
Only an hour 8 this time. That's not bad. So I do want to thank all the people who joined. I do want to thank Caroline, but she unfortunately fell asleep, which is, you know what? I'm not going to blame her. She fell asleep because she had a job. She did her job. And I do want to thank Chris for joining. And the chat.
Sorry, I was late.
It's okay. Unfortunately, G-Fan couldn't make it because, well, I do not think he was able to get online today. He probably got a call in for his trucking and whatnot. But yes, RC from the NYC, thank you for joining. Soul Assassin, Happy Dino, Royston, whatchamacallit? Royston Parker, sorry. Thank you for coming into the chat. Charles Moon, thank you for coming in. Happy Dino. Podcast with Ian Slater.
Yep.
Happy Our Price is Right.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was there?
Tim Possible.
Yep.
And Bob.
Bob.
And Bob.
Yep.
That worked really well. Tim Possible and Bob.
And Bob. Yep. That was pure hilarity there.
Mm-hmm.
And some trivia. The Harlem scenes are actually my neighborhood, Washington Heights, north of Harlem. Zeus's Fix-It Shop was a deli that was redone, and Chester Arthur School was my elementary school. Nice. That is pretty cool. Throughout the series, you can see the balding stages of Bruce, or throughout the series, you can see the balding stages of Bruce Willis. You're absolutely right. You could.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that is pretty cool, RC. That is pretty cool. But yeah. Anyway, folks, that is going to conclude this one. And to that troll, well, go find a bridge to live under, buddy, because we don't want that crap in my chats. Anyway, folks, that is going to conclude it. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like this video, if you're catching it in the replay, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Tune in and subscribe to Chris Knight at The Real Review 3000. He does a lot of great content over there. He also does stuff with Danny from Comics Chat and Chaos Central, I believe it is.
Yep.
Chaos Central with a K. So yeah, check them out. They do great work. And stay awesome, folks, as Soul Assassin here says. Also, let me know if you have seen Die Hard with a Vengeance. What was your favorite part in the movies? What was your least favorite and whatnot? Let me know all your stuff, all your thoughts, folks. Anyway, this has been Orange Hat Reviews and Panel. And always remember, folks, stay humble, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.